My name is Tamara Chambers.
And I'm Cody Melcher.
And this is Tamara Just Saw.
And Cody also just saw 2 as well. Full on Winnie the Pooh.
So we just saw Deadpool 2 and we're drinking Mike's Harder lemonade.
It's harder.
Deadpool version. We're gonna try not to do any spoilers. So there will be no spoilers. That sounded very much like, if you're lucky, there won't be any spoilers, but we'll see. No spoilers for this. General thoughts is I thought it was fun. I thought it was funny. I thought it was not as good as the first, but rarely sequels are. And I had a really good time. I thought there were some really good moments, some really good action sequences. The acting was stellar. The fourth wall breaking was great. And there were some good references.
Biggest compliment is that when the movie was over, I looked at my watch and I was like, oh wow, that was like 2 hours-ish. It felt way shorter, which sounds like a double-edged sword compliment kind of a deal. It's not. It meant like that it kept me for what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a funny action movie. It kept my interest and it kept me laughing and engaged enough that I never really considered how long it was, and it felt shorter. I will say its biggest drawback or weakness is that the best part of the movie is in the credits, which is great. The credits, stick around for the mid-credit. It's hilarious. If you're someone who wants to see Deadpool 2, you're going to definitely love this, but that is also definitely the best part of the whole movie.
There was so much fourth wall breaking.
Yeah. And
so many good references and such self-aware, like almost too self-aware at points, but it was really fun. It made me laugh out loud. A lot of the fight sequences do things that I've not seen in Marvel films before, and I think that's really cool. I really like that.
Yeah. I would compare it to Watchmen. Stay with me. Don't press the button. Stay on the video. Stay with me for a sec. So Watchmen, I feel like was Zack Snyder just transposing, I don't feel like, he was actually doing it, transposing actual comic book pages to the film, but the heart and energy wasn't really in him. This more than any other comic book movie I've seen, felt like the comic. Like this felt like I read because I grew up reading Deadpool. I have Deadpool all the way from the very beginning. I think I said this last time we did Deadpool.
A few of the jokes fell flat, I think, because at a few moments you could tell it was something that was supposed. I even thought, like, I wonder what the premiere was like. I wonder if people laughed at this joke because no one in our theater did. They were supposed to laugh at it, and there were just a few of them, and it felt like it's because the whole film is just pushing boundaries and like doing things that like normal, like, you know, action films don't do. But like,
it's like a goth kid who's like, what normie?
So like when they don't do it fully at every single moment, it kind of feels like it's not good at that moment when it is, and they're just trying to incorporate maybe some feeling or some depth to it other than just like a fun surface level thing. Where I feel like in the first film they did that better. You were able to have some points of like feeling, and you really cared about things outside of like, when's the next joke coming? Where I love the format of this movie, and I really like how much I laughed. I really like how much I enjoyed it, how it kept my attention. But I do think the first one was able to achieve a little bit more depth in that sense.
It's like if you're watching like a Michael Bay movie. If the Michael Bay movie was just the final fight scene, the whole movie, and you're just like, can we just have a moment where Anthony Hopkins is talking for a second, please? Because I need a break. It's how it kind of went for me.
And I feel like that's because we were like looking for something to talk about. Because like if you're just going to like have some popcorn, have a beer before, just enjoy the fuck out of this film, you're totally going to do it. I think it's super fun. Yeah. It's definitely worth seeing. Yeah. Like we were saying on the ride home, I'm not going to go see this again in theaters, but like it was fun. I laughed out loud. It did its purpose. Yeah. And it was a good sequel. It was a solid sequel. The action sequences were so good. The first one starts off and you get this beautiful action montage of him beating up bad guys while 9 to 5 by Dolly Parton plays. And it just is a beautiful thing. I think the soundtrack is so wonderfully odd. It's all very well choreographed, the fights are, and it doesn't feel like a blurry of shit that's happening that you can't really keep track of. You can see everything happening.
Michael Bay.
Exactly, and a lot of like my favorite Marvel film of this year, obviously, was Black Panther, but a lot of the fights in Black Panther were too dark or too like blurry, and you couldn't really tell every single move that was happening. And in this, I felt like I could see everything, and also you feel when he breaks something, like and he breaks his arm, and like he'll use that break, and like so
that's a great moment with that
too. I really like the way that they use his power to get fights and to get like the choreography of the action sequences down. I think it's really good.
Yeah, and I will say, going back to it, that my I think the biggest weakness of the film to me was that it was overly sad and like touching at certain points where I was like, okay, we don't really need to keep going back to this. But my mind was kind of changed in the men's bathroom by some guys. That was a weird way to introduce that. But I was waiting in line in the bathroom, and
what happens in the Regal bathroom stays in the Regal bathroom.
That was not on the door. And some dudes came in and they were like, "Man, that was a really touching movie, bro." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I guess like that's emotion for bros. Like the type of people who go and see like action-y movies aren't going and seeing like." You know,
Titanic.
I love the Titanic's your reach for emotional movie. Yeah, they're not really getting that Billy Zane fix. If we're gonna talk about like, you know, masculinity, which is a thing that is addressed in the movie as well.
Yeah.
That like these types of like guys who go see Deadpool are probably I'm not generalizing because I'm a guy who goes to see Deadpool, but like some of the bros that are there who literally say the phrase "that was really touching, bro," are probably not, you know, experiencing a lot of genuine emotion and vulnerability in characters that they look up to, which I also don't think you should really look up to Deadpool, but the characters I think are cool. Yeah. It's nice to see both Cable and Deadpool are two characters that are badasses that in this movie were emotion driven and very vulnerable, and that's super important.
I loved the assembling of that team, and I love the team that you get at the end of the film. You get a clear definition of what you're going to get in the third film, if there is a third film, but it looks like there is going to be. Obviously, you get a very clear vision of what that's going to be, and I like it. I'm very into the group.
Also, comment below: Colossus and Deadpool, will they, won't they? It's the question of the century.
I say yes. I love the opening and closing credits in these films. I think those are really well done. Though I still don't understand when people leave the second after a Marvel movie.
I guess some people don't. Well, I mean, this is technically a Fox movie presented with Marvel.
Yeah.
So maybe they're just uninformed swine.
I think you're right. Domino. Wait, let's talk about Domino.
Domino. The Valkyrie of Deadpool.
The best pizza place. I love
What? What?
That's a lie. I'm joking. Those jokes.
What?
I loved Domino so much.
I did as well.
I am into her as a character and also into her as a girlfriend.
Me too. Más o menos.
They approached the luck thing so well.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that was really well done, and it was just the perfect amount of comedy where she wasn't like too in your face like Deadpool is. It was like just so good, so well done. I really enjoyed her. I think she was definitely my favorite character in this. I wish there would have been more Negasonic Teenage Warhead. It's a hard name to say.
But to be fair, they did say her girlfriend's name several times, and I cannot remember it.
It's something with an N.
I thought it was something Yuki.
Nayuki.
Something like that. It was a fine movie. I enjoyed it. I had fun. I'm not going to write to my mom about it because she's not going to want to see it.
What's the last movie you wrote to your mom about?
Secret of Nim, maybe?
Thank you so much for watching. That was abrupt, I'm sorry. Next week is Solo? Is it? Is it not?
I think it actually is. I think that's earlier when you were like, I don't know what it is next week. I was like, I think it's actually Solo because I remember going, oh, hey, next week is that.
I'm making a Queera cosplay, and I don't think that's how you say her name, but I wish it was.
You're doing Solo.
Oh. I could be there.
He's your Chewbacca.
He is. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
So much. It was so lovely to have you back. To
Mike's Hard Lemonade. Available at 7-Elevens near you.
Everyone go follow Cody on all of his respective social medias that I will not be linking below. See you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.